Hey, this is Livy spilling all the political tea, straight politics, and no chaser. You know, the go to for all your political needs. Think the Bodega Boys, but political. It's millennial politics served piping hot. It took me almost over a week since the debate to wrap my mind around the shenanigans that have occurred the past week or two or whatever it's been since the debate. So, my apologies for the delay. This will be a long episode. Brace yourself. Here we go. For the first time in history, a current and former president debated each other. One of which, Biden, came out of law school and dedicated his life to public service. His entire life. Do not judge 90 minutes to a lifetime of fighting for the American people. The man was sick. But he still went to the Waffle House after the debate and hung out with supporters and sounded great the next morning at his campaign rally, where he said, and I quote, "I intend to win this election," end quote. Thank you, Mr. President. He had a heavy travel schedule this week, being president and campaigning, and yes, he is indeed old. We all knew that when we elected him 4 years ago. He is not a god, he is human, and we all get sick. Y'all did the same shit to Hillary when she got pneumonia on the campaign in 2016 and she felt a little faint and y'all lost your minds. Stop it now. Stop acting like you didn't hear or understand what he said too. Turn your TV up. Cut the shit now. You are going to wake up and Putin is going to be your vice president. Candace Owens is going to be your Secretary of State. Giuliani is going to be your chief of staff because he's a lawyer. Well, not in New York State. I will get into that in the next episode. You're getting double trouble today, so be prepared. I cannot. Ben Carson will be your head of the CDC, and Tim Scott is going to be the Attorney General. You think it's a joke? Watch. Someone said on Twitter, you think your privilege, whatever that may be, we all have privileges, will keep you safe. It won't. I feel like Queen Elizabeth on The Crown when she makes a list of who she thinks will be the new prime minister's cabinet. And she's checking off the list saying, tick, tick. Don't let this list come true, honey. I hope you watched the debate and I hope you loved it as much as I did. Personally, when the presidential motorcade pulled up to the venue, I started screaming and cheering. I got so excited. I got all the chills. I love it. I live for this shit. I love politics. It's so much fun. Politics is like Mariah Carey to me. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So I hope you loved it or learned to love it. Find some joy and comedy in watching the country's fate dangle in the balance of power. Fun stuff, right? And apparently, I wasn't the only one. Hundreds of people lined the streets the other day to see Biden's motorcade pass them by in NYC. And for the people that say Joe is old and he did bad and looked bad, if you do not ride your bike 1 mile every morning with your wife at age 81, please stop talking. Dick Van Dyke said it best, and I quote, "I'm 98 and I've got all my marbles." Go off, Dick. Go off. My grandma is 98 and she still balances her checkbook. So for all the ageist people out there, y'all are problematic. Meanwhile, Trump reportedly lied over 30 times during the debate. My God. CNN apparently didn't fact check the debate because Trump wouldn't agree to it if they did. Shocker. CNN should have never held that debate under those circumstances. I don't get it. Dana Bash and Jake Tapper look like the purge up there moderating the debate. Anyway, the least you could do is fact check the shit. And since when has Trump done anything for veterans? Lies, blatant lies. Then Trump said that Nancy Pelosi took responsibility for January 6th. What? Since when? Why would she do that when she was one of the people fleeing for her life and trying to secure the transfer of power? Are you kidding me? Then Trump said he didn't have sex with a prostitute. I guess that was his Bill Clinton moment because we all know that's a lie. Now I have a question. What does the blacks mean? And I quote, the blacks, end quote. What does that mean? Lord. I don't like when people say the blacks. Be wary of anyone that uses that phrase. What exactly are black jobs, Trump? Is being president, vice president, attorney general, Supreme Court justice a black job? I think so. You gotta be shitting me. Someone tweeted, a black job is, it's where you do twice the work of a white job for 3/5 the pay. End quote. Y'all got jokes on Twitter. Black Twitter is hilarious. But it's true. Like what? With 3/4 of the recognition, 3/4 of the pay, the whole shebang. And then someone tweeted, it looks like black women will have to do the black job in November again. End quote. Per usual, remember, over 94% of black women voted for Hillary in 2016. We did our black job. We're not the problem. Someone then tweeted, the most important black job in 2024 is keeping Trump out of the White House. I hope we get a bonus after we complete the assignment. Hell yeah. End quote. We need a stimmy. Biden, if you get reelected, just for black folks that vote for you, if they didn't vote for you, they don't get one. But for the ones that voted for you, we need a little stimmy, Biden, a little kickback. We really doing the Lord's work. We really holding down for you, man. Somebody said on Twitter, we got Biden front, back, left, right. Don't let the media fool you. It's so true. Black people got you. Or at least the majority of us. Or at least the black women. You know, the people that count. Anyway, I loved when Biden called Trump a sucker, a loser, an alley cat, a whiner, and a child. End quote. He came out swinging in the debate and y'all said he was not cognizant. What? I didn't see a Sleepy Joe or someone falling apart. I thought the debate was fine and I thought he won, period. He was a little pale, well, a lot pale, and his voice was clearly sore. But besides that, what was the issue? There was none. This was manufactured BS from the press. The media is clearly conspiring to get Biden out of the race, and we're not having it. Someone tweeted, "I've never seen this kind of collective effort by the press to get Trump to drop out. Not after the Trump Tower meeting with the Russians, not his impeachment, not after bleach injections, not after the coup, not after being liable for rape, not after his criminal conviction, never." End quote. And they never will because Trump equals ratings and profits. Maybe in more ways than one. Sip that tea. I will say this though, that Biden's campaign should have came out with a statement regarding him being sick earlier in the day or the day before or the night before. Never give imbeciles the chance to guess and create lies and misinformation. And frankly, if you need a presidential debate to help you decide how to vote, you are truly a lost cause. Anyway, especially since it's 4 months prior to the election. After the debate, Biden tweeted, "Folks, I may not walk as easily or talk as smoothly as I used to. I might not debate as well as I used to, but what I do know is how to tell the truth." End quote. No further comment. Now, this is my favorite part of the episode, which I call BFFR, like make it make sense. I think it's self explanatory. After the debate, the New York Times came out with an op ed stating Biden should step aside. Now people are canceling their New York Times subscriptions. Good. I don't have a subscription to the New York Times, but if I did, I would end it also. The New York Times is emaciated with Trump. They have been since 2016 with Hillary and her emails. They need to step aside for democracy and the good of the country and the American people. I'm sorry, not sorry. I went to the number one school in the country for journalism. And what the New York Times does is not journalism. And it hasn't been for quite some time now. Same for CNN. They are Trump operatives and will lead to the demise of democracy and this country as a whole. Please note, CNN's ratings have hit a 33-year low. I hope a Democrat buys them, since a Republican bought them 2 years ago. Fun fact. Full disclaimer, I was a diehard New York Times and CNN fan in college and prior to the 2016 campaign. Well, I haven't been a New York Times fan since they said Mike Brown was, and I quote, no angel, quote, in college. And then I experienced firsthand their blatant disdain for Hillary when I worked for Hillary's campaign in 2016, and I was done. That is not unbiased journalism, and therefore it is not journalism. We all went to journalism school, people. Or did we? The rapper Plies tweeted, "The New York Times says Joe Biden ain't the same person he was 4 years ago." Maybe they're right, but the New York Times ain't the same newspaper they were 4 years ago neither. End quote. And I died reading that. Like, leave it to Plies. I cannot. Like, even the rappers are calling it out at this point. Someone else on Twitter said something about all this feels very Russian disinformation-y. End quote. I agree. Folks forget our allies said the Russians hacked our 2016 election and nobody cared about that. Hillary won. People in this country not that dumb to vote for Trump. I really don't believe that they voted for him. They're stupid, but they're not that stupid. Someone tweeted CNN is Diet Fox, and I fell out. That's truly what it's become. Like it just really has gone down into this terrible rabbit hole. Anyway, anyone else calling for Dems to replace Biden, you are a rabid lunatic dog and needs to be put down. And I said what I said. I'm glad, however, that Dems in leadership are sticking to the message and supporting Biden. Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Rep. Clyburn, Obama, Bill Clinton, and a host of others came out in support of the president. Then you have RFK Jr. You have to laugh. Holding his own debate. But it wasn't a debate, honey, because it was a question and answer with himself. Now folks are saying they want him to replace Biden. What? Honey, y'all were complaining about Biden's voice because he had a cold and a stutter. Now you want RFK Jr. to be your president? It a grip. It also came out that Kennedy allegedly sexually assaulted someone. What? What? Another rapist as president? Absolutely not. Not on my watch. No, ma'am. No. No. And then when he got asked about it, he dodged the question. And then they saying he ate a dog, but he denying that. This is a little too much for me. I'm moving on. But to close the segment out, the professor Alan Lichtman that correctly predicted every election since 1982 said after the debate that debates do not decide presidential elections. They don't even move the needle. It's purely pomp and circumstance. Lichtman has a whole formula for predicting who will win presidential elections and stated that removing or switching a party candidate, like some have proposed, is not the way to win an election. Shocker. He said, and I quote, debate performances can be overcome. At the first sign of adversity, the spineless Democrats want to throw under the bus their own incumbent president. My goodness, end quote. Rapper Plies tweeted it. The Republicans have no principles and the Democrats have no spine. Now, I'll tell you a little story. When I worked for Hillary's campaign in 2016, one of my favorite coworkers said she could never be a Democrat because the Democratic Party are a bunch of pussies. And I didn't see it then, but I see it now. Lichtman has not predicted the 2024 presidential election yet, but according to his checklist, Biden is the likely winner. I was going to say Google his 13 key factors for winning the White House, but I know you won't do it. So here it is. 1. Party mandate. After the midterm elections, the incumbent party holds more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives than after the previous midterm elections. 2. No primary contest. There is no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. 3. Incumbent seeking re-election. The incumbent party candidate is the sitting president. 4. No third party. There is no significant third party or independent campaign. 5. Strong term economy. The economy is not in a recession during the election campaign. 6. Strong long-term economy. Real per capita economic growth during the term equals or exceeds mean growth during the previous 2 terms. 7. Major policy change. The incumbent administration affects major changes in national policy. 8. No social unrest. There is no sustained social unrest during the term. 9. No scandal. Incumbent administration is untainted by major scandal. 10. No foreign military failure. The incumbent administration suffers no major failure in foreign or military affairs. 11. Major foreign military success. The incumbent administration achieves a major success in foreign or military affairs. 12. Charismatic incumbent. The incumbent party candidate is charismatic or a national hero. 13. Uncharismatic challenger. The challenging party candidate is not charismatic or a national hero. Lichtman believes you need 6 keys to lose, and Biden doesn't have 2 of them. The first one, the mandate key, because they lost U.S. House seats in 2022, and key 12, incumbent charisma. He's no John F. Kennedy or Franklin Roosevelt, according to Lichtman. August, Lichtman will make his predictions for the 2024 election, and I can't wait. They also did a roundtable after the debate with Pennsylvania voters, and one said, if it's a Biden and Trump race, I would vote for Biden even if he was dead, and I'm a Republican, end quote. Well, you heard it for yourself, folks. And Pennsylvania did not go for Hillary in 2016, but went for Biden in 2020. Old white men like Biden. The person that said this on NBC was indeed an old white man. Take that for what it means. Some comedy that came out of the debate were the tweets, and of course, Black Twitter stole the show with some assistance from the melanin deficient. If you don't know what Black Twitter is in the year 2024, it was not meant for you to know. Boo boo. There's unfortunately a whole doc on it on Netflix or Hulu, one of them. Don't watch it. Someone tweeted that Bob Costas, a very notable Newhouse and Syracuse alum, go Orange, said Trump is by far the most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. He's only gotten more disgraceful since 2016. End quote. And Costas is correct. Glad he is using his Newhouse degree to spread the unvarnished truth. Someone else tweeted, Joe Biden has not failed us in 3.5 years, but some of us took only 3 days to fail him. That's effing depressing. End quote. Please note, Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, Anderson Cooper, Van Jones, David Axelrod, and a host of other subjects have negative things to say about Biden's debate performance, and they can all go to hell. Someone else tweeted, y'all really needed a debate to help you decide who to vote for 4 months out from election day? End quote. My sentiments exactly. Like, are you dense? Do you watch the news? Do you care about democracy at home or globally? I don't know. Then someone tweeted, oh my God, you guys, that Roosevelt dude is in a wheelchair. I'm going to have to switch my vote to Hitler. He looks stronger. End quote. I could not breathe reading that. But some of you, if we were back then, I could see y'all saying that. Thank God the people didn't know that the man was in a wheelchair because people are stupid. Anyway, another tweeter said, Biden can recover from a bad debate night, but Trump is still a convicted felon. End quote. Sidebar, did y'all see Trump's face when Biden called him a convicted felon? The mofo couldn't even deny it. He just shrugged and put his head down. This is insidious. This country is a joke. I'm sorry. Like, go back on YouTube and watch the moment where Biden says Trump is a convicted felon. And look at Trump's face. He literally just shrugs like, well, he got a point. This is what we do in America? This is it? Okay, got it. Another tweeter said, I want Biden to be replaced with Dark Brandon. End quote. I concur. Like, I believe former Attorney General Eric Holder said, turn Biden loose. Let him be him, and the next debate will be fine. I couldn't confirm if he said that or not. I think he tweeted it, or somebody said it. But whoever said it, I concur. Someone else stated on Twitter, yes, I remember that I don't remember the New York Times asking McConnell to resign after he literally froze up on camera twice, end quote. My sentiments precisely. Mitch McConnell been dying for years and y'all don't give a damn. The man freezed on TV. He stopped talking. It looked like he stopped breathing. His heart stopped moving. He stopped beating. And nobody cares. And that is the leader of the Republican Party. That's crazy. Another tweeter said, and I quote, I'm voting for the guy who stuttered 7 times and not the guy who lied 250 times. End quote. Basically, frankly, at this point, I'd vote for Biden. If that man died at 9:02, I'd cast my vote for him at 9:03. He getting his vote. Another tweet. Geez, it was an effing debate, for God's sake. Not like he effed a porn star or attempted a coup or anything. End quote. Enough said. Like, enough, or molested children or caused an insurrection, or like, we can do the or all day. Someone else said, at this point, I am ready for Biden to do a press conference, tell the media to kiss my old white ass and just drop the mic, end quote. And honestly, Biden really should do it. Just like that. Just do it. Just say it. You know you want to say it. Throw malarkey in there and really just tell him to kiss your ass, because They want you to kiss the ring. Apparently, New York Times wants them to kiss the ring. So tell them to kiss your ass. And that's what you're doing anyway, by not sitting down for an interview with them. So might as well just say it. DL Hughley then tweeted, and I quote, "It's simple for me. As fast as you forgot grab him by the pussy, or January 6th, or being convicted of 34 felonies, I'll forget this debate." End quote. Yeah. Hughley also tweeted, quote, "Biden is old, but he ain't as old as the abortion laws Republicans are going back to." End quote. Drink that tea. Sip that. How about that? Someone else tweeted, and I quote, "For the good of the country, whichever candidate is a convicted felon awaiting sentencing should drop out of the race." End quote. Someone else said, "Joe Biden has to hurry up and commit fraud, rape, espionage, and insurrection quickly, so the New York Times will think he's fit to stay in the race." End quote. Yeah, basically, he need to commit a whole bunch of crimes against humanity and, women and children and everybody else. Another quote, "My dictator concerns outweigh the old concerns." End quote. It should. But for some people, for some reason, it's just not clicking with a certain demographic, a certain group of people. Here's another quote. "Here are 6 reasons to vote for President Biden. John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Neil Garush, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Comey Barrett." End quote. That's a hell of a reason. We told y'all in 2016 that the Supreme Court was on the ballot and y'all played games. So I just, and then my favorite tweet, and I quote, "To serve this country, the New York Times editorial board should resign." End quote. My sentiments precisely. They haven't been journalists or credible journalistic source in decades. And I'm being nice about that. Presidential debate Twitter was wild. Loved and greatly appreciated all the commentary. Follow my Twitter account for the political tea. I think it's called TBT with Libby. On a side note, the Uvalde police chief and school officers are going to jail. Good. How the hell? Somebody explain it to me like I'm 5. Please. How the hell can you stand there for 77 minutes and listen to kids die? You SOBs, y'all need to be under the jail. Every last one of you, and the police chief too. I hope you all get life in jail and then some. Specifically, I hope you all get 77 years. Defund the police. If they can't protect kids from being killed, then what the hell are they and what are we paying taxpayer dollars for? Explain it to me. Like I'm 5. Waste of money. On another side note, it seems that every law that has been beaten into my head during law school is being upended. Thank you guys. All my hundreds of thousands of dollars. For what? The most recent law that was upended was Chevron this week. That's like the first case you learn in law school. I can't. The court's 6-3 ruling on Friday overturned a 40-plus-year-old decision that has instructed lower courts to defer to federal agencies when laws passed by Congress are not crystal clear, essentially limiting the power of federal agencies. Some say that Chevron was the Roe v. Wade of environmental protection, and that the Supreme Court just accelerated the climate doomsday clock. Then someone tweeted, there is always a tweet, and I quote, Clarence Thomas, the last 20 years, 2005, Chevron is correct. 2005 to 2024 receives 4 million in secret gifts from real estate developers and polluters and other right-wingers who made reversing Chevron one of their highest priorities. 2022, Chevron is wrong. End quote. Well, y'all need to investigate the Supreme Court, starting with Clarence Thomas. The Supreme Court also held this week in Fisher v. United States that the January 6 rioters who breached Capitol barricades, assaulted police officers, broke doors and windows, and forced members of Congress to flee for their lives, including the Vice President of the United States, Pence, did not obstruct or impede, and that is a quote, obstruct or impede the congressional proceeding to certify the election. I'll be damned. So what did they do? They was just there having a pep rally. They was just kikiing. They was just talking with deadly weapons and breaking windows. Elections have consequences, people. The Supreme Court also ruled that cities can punish unhoused people with fines and jail time for sleeping in public, even if they have nowhere else to go. The Supreme Court is perpetuating poverty. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Someone tweeted, the Supreme Court just ruled that you could spend more time in jail for sleeping in public than you can for storming the Capitol. My sentiments precisely. Someone else tweeted, let me get this straight. Homelessness is a crime, but violently storming the Capitol isn't. Do I have that right? End quote. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Then D.L. Hughley tweeted, and I hate him, but he redeemed himself with that Kamala apology, so a little bit. But his tweets are wild. He tweeted, the Supreme Court has more rollback than Walmart. End quote. And I started hyperventilating. Like they really, bam, bam, bam. Like every 30 seconds, it was a new opinion and a dissent. And Lord, like what is happening? I feel like the Supreme Court knows Biden is going to get reelected. So they trying to get all their BS in before he get reelected and expand this court, or figure out a way to get the DOJ to investigate them, to get them 6 justices out. I don't know, but this is just a lot. Or maybe they rushing to get home for the summer break. I don't know, but this is just too much. Someone else tweeted, Americans should have the entire week off for the 4th of July this year as a kind of going out of business blowout. End quote. We're going through it over here. That's what I'm saying. We can't help nobody right now. We're going through it over here on this side of the pond. We got problems. We got issues. We can't help nobody. Look, another tweet stated, it feels weird to celebrate our independence as a nation when it's pretty clear we are losing it. End quote. Hello? Democracy is on a string. I told y'all that a couple episodes ago. We are dangling in the balance, and everybody just going to work like it's normal. It's not normal. Brooklyn congressional rep Hakeem Jeffries tweeted, the Supreme Court has failed once again. The future of the country is squarely in the hands of the American people. End quote. Woo! A message, a word. Leave it to the Brooklyn boy to tell you what it is, what it ain't, and what it's going to be. Honorable mention. Kenya turned up this week. The government was proposing increasing taxes, and Kenyans wasn't having it. They protested in Nairobi and set Parliament ablaze, child. They were not playing. Obama's half sister was one of the protesters, and she was tear gassed by police on live television. That is right, live TV. Despite all this, the people prevailed, and the proposed bill would no longer be considered or signed into law by the president. Power to the people. Kenya wasn't the only country going through it this week, and America too. Bolivia also had an attempted coup. What is going on? But the difference between them and America on January 6th is that the general that started the coup was arrested within 24 hours, and the person that started January 6th is running for president and debating the current president. Yeah. Never talk about South American countries and their politics because our politics isn't much better. Anyway, here are all the things I could not get to because time is of the essence and always fleeting. Trump accidentally leaked his talking points to the media before the debate. I think this was intentionally done to control the narrative. Trump also admitted to speaking to Putin about invading Ukraine during the debate. Let that sink in. Then CNN apparently denied black media from gaining press badges to the debate. And somebody on Twitter said, and I quote, CNN stands for don't Lord. Okay, you ready for this? This is funny. CNN stands for don't let me see no N-words at the debate. Lord, I fell out. Jesus. Black Twitter never lies and it never ceases to amaze me. Y'all are creative. A couple weeks ago, Bloomberg gave Biden $20 million for his campaign. I think he can and should give a lot more. He spent more than that on his campaign when he was running for president. But I think he will closer to the election, August, September. Let's see. Congestion pricing in NYC has been delayed. Yay. They need to charge folks coming from Jersey more, not New Yorkers getting around New York. Thanks. Justice Barrett's husband is representing Fox News in a lawsuit. I don't know if you guys saw that. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Giuliani said he is, and I quote, very, very proud, end quote, of his actions to overthrow the 2020 election. That statement will not look good for his Arizona case, where he was indicted for pressuring Arizona legislators to change the results of the 2020 presidential election. Good luck. More on Giuliani next episode. George Latimer won the Democratic nomination for U.S. House of Representatives in New York's congressional district, beating incumbent Jamal Bowman. Good. I'm tired of the squad in Congress. It is beyond time for them to go. I hope they all get primaried and voted out. And it seems like my wish is coming true. Brazil decriminalized possession of cannabis last week. Come on, America. I know you can do it. Republicans are pushing for no-fault divorce. For example, if you can't provide and prove a reason to get a divorce, such as adultery or abuse, you can't get one. See, I told y'all they want you barefoot, pregnant, poor, uneducated, legally unprotected, and trapped in a loveless marriage. I told y'all that a few episodes ago. Do you believe me now? Trump was apparently in the Bronx a few weeks ago and is claiming record numbers in attendance. And that is not the case. Yes, unfortunately, there are Republicans in the Bronx, but not that many. If there were 100 people at that rally, I would be shocked. But Trump is claiming thousands. He's a maniac and a pathological liar. I saw the videos and the pictures, and there were not thousands of people at that rally. BFFR. Stop lying. Like, if there were thousands of people there or even a couple hundred people there, you paid them people. Stop it. Supreme Court Justice Thomas critiqued the Brown v. Board of Education ruling in May. He said the Supreme Court took a boundless view of equitable remedies. End quote. Think about that. The Supreme Court will come for Brown v. Board of Education and the same-sex marriage decision. Watch. Mark my words. Trump said this week Biden is using drugs. Now that is projection. Everything Trump says is either projection or blasphemous lies. Know that. Watch the debate. Everything he said about Biden is his life. He was literally telling his life story, but just saying it was Biden. It was so weird. We still don't have his medical records, and he is the only president in modern history to not make his medical records public. I wonder why. But y'all worried about Biden's health when Dr. Fauci said Biden is fine. Make it make sense. The CDC flirt variant was found in the waste of 15 states. COVID numbers are up and there is a summer surge, so if you get sick, it's probably not the common cold. It is probably COVID. Stay safe and stay home. I'm tired of y'all in public coughing your life away, not covering your mouth, and spreading your dirtiness. Please stop it. Don't come outside. It's not allergies, you liars. A sidebar to that, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass was floating a possible mask ban this week, and now she has COVID. Do with that information as you will. Before the debate, it came out that Biden refers to Trump, and I quote, as a sick fuck. End quote. You can't make this shit up. I swear, did I say it's the best telenovela on the planet? I told y'all politics is given. You don't need love and hip hop. Politics gonna give you everything you need. Look at this. Behind closed doors. Biden calls him this. Somebody said if he said that to him during the debate, he would win 40 states. He came close to saying it, but no cigar. Maybe next time. After the debate, it came out that Biden gets tired after 4 p.m. Honey, so do I. After 3 p.m., I'm tired. Hell, I wake up tired. Sickle cell be kicking my ass. I'm tired all the time. I'm tired right now. So I don't know why people are so alarmed. He old. According to Newsweek, undecided voters say they are now supporting Joe Biden after the debate. Another poll stated 58% of women say they are voting for Biden. Not high enough for me, but I'll take it. 50% of CNN's own focus group of undecided voters in Michigan said President Biden won the debate. Shocker. According to a new CBS poll, 54% of registered voters said Donald Trump should not be running for president. No duh. The Biden-Harris campaign added Keisha Lance Bottoms, the former mayor of Atlanta, as the senior advisor for their 2024 election campaign. Good. One thing I love about Biden is the fact that he loves to put Black women in positions of power, real substantial power and leadership. He's done so more than any other president in history, from the Supreme Court to all the federal courts to his own administration with Kamala Harris. So I really love Biden for that. Thank you, Biden. Biden also raised over $30 million after the debate. I think it was $33 million to be exact, mostly from first-time donors. And with that being said, I will end this episode with this. Get the job done, Mr. President. 4 more years. Yes, I said it. 4 more years. We need the White House. We need the House of Representatives. We need to keep the majority in the Senate. We need 2 to 3 seats in the Supreme Court. It's a lot, but I think we can do it. Democrats, let's get to work. Thank you for listening to my political pontification. If you liked it, loved it, or hated it, please tell a friend to tell a friend. And please check out my website, The Political Tea. You can generously donate to my chai latte habit on it.